Welcome everybody. This is another segment of our presentation for you for your upcoming wine club release. This is our Carigane vineyard. This was planted in 1900. It's easy for me to do the math on that. So this is the 2020, so it's a 120-year-old vineyard. What we're representing here is we have 3 different wines from one vineyard. I got my amazing wine team with us, and we're going to walk through these wines again. As we've presented some of the other presentations, there are always going to be 2 empty glasses in front of you. These are for your glasses to be able to kick back and enjoy and listen to what we have to say. Agree or disagree with us, please give us your comments. So, again, 120-year-old vineyard. One of my dear friends, Greg Burns from Alchemista Winery, that you'll see in my upcoming series on my Royalties Infidel Vineyard that's 130 years old. He is one of 3 wineries that participate in that. And what he said of vineyards such as this is vineyards like this represent such an amazing historical aspect. You should approach these vineyards bareheaded, hat off, on your knees, appreciating the historical aspect of what you have here. These vines have been producing for so many amazing years. Does that make a difference in the aspect of the wines? As we give you our comments and thoughts and notes, let it express for yourself. Don't have to agree with us at all. But what we have from here, but this is a rosé. So this is taken earlier in the vineyard cycle. You know, this vineyard. We'll start picking this vineyard or looking at it seriously relative to the 7 different wineries of an 8-acre block that participate by the vine for how many vines they get from this vineyard. And important to us is how many vines do we take for ourselves. So this is a much younger pick. A rosé is done as a whole cluster press, so this off the skin, that's the natural color that you would get from the juice of the grape without skin contact. Skin contact, of course, makes the darkness. So we'll discuss that. The second, that's a 2019, correct? Yeah. 2019, okay. And the second wine here that I believe we actually gave this a perfect 100-point score.
It's beautiful.
I believe so.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about this. This is one of my faves. The darker label series, I call it the gold series, black label gold series. So the 2016 vintage was barrel aged for a long period of time. This one went 29 months in barrel, as you might see in our other series on the Merlot. Age matters, both in vine and also in aging of the process. And yes, this one was 100 points. It's 15.5% alcohol. This one, as a rosé picked much earlier, is going to be probably 12.5%.
Yeah, 12.5.
About 12.5%. So you get the brightness, which we'll discuss, and then you get into the complexity and the depth and the astringency, all these different factors. And finally, from the same vineyard, we have our 2007 vintage. I got that one right. Of the Carigane, as a fortified, what we have to call it, sweet wine, port style wine, 1 barrel produced, 19 cases. You that are in our wine club for the Ports Club get this first. I'm sure it's going to sell out fast. We'll be describing it as well. But again, these vines, with their age, their dry farmed aspect, they produce such amazing extraction that we've garnished the appeal from so many different wineries into wanting to participate with us. And we will be getting into hopefully, in our boot camp series from bud break to glass, we'll be able to bring some of those guys into this and gals into this, and what is their wine expressing. We'll put it on the same table. We'll banter back and forth about the uniquenesses, but the origin of this grape, the most important aspect is that it is Spanish. It is from Spain. it became very prolific in France, to the point where it became so strong that they started pulling it back. What is unique about this relative to the United States is that, again, these vineyards go back to 1900, and my oldest vineyard goes all the way back to 1889, and that we also contribute to add to this is the age of the vine. We have our own influence on it, and that's why I'm proud of putting the E on the end. But it's where I've mentioned this in other video clips, is that age matters on certain things. Not, the age of the vine makes the quality here. Yes, it's a young vintage, matured quickly, but all of these from this vineyard create the depth and complexity. And this probably, I'd love to hear from others. If there's anybody else out there has a Carignan vineyard that is actually older than this one. You're looking at 8 acres, and again, 7 different winemakers. It's an amazing wine. So let's start. Let's have some fun with this. I think we should start with a rosé.
All day.
What do we call it? Rosé all day?
Rosé all day.
Best sound here, guys. Ready? Wait, that wasn't very good. I'll do better next time. That was weak. Tana?
Thank you.
Tana?
Tonic.
Tana?
Thank you.
Jesus. Tyler.
Thank you.
Some for me too.
I can smell that from here.
I know, it smells so good, doesn't it? I
So
love this one.
you smell it from here. What does that mean? Oh my gosh, I do too. And there's,
bright.
believe it or not, there's like a 5 mile an hour breeze blowing through here, but yeah, it's dominant.
It's vibrant.
Whole cluster press, which we talked about, is done at a lighter bricks level or sugar level, so that we can pick up on the acidity of this wine.
It is
And excuse the paper shuffle on the table. I thought it was important to get back to some of the points. As a rosé, we did 138 cases total. It's 6 months of aging, tank only. This has no barrel time. And why would we do that, guys? Give me an answer.
Keep it more crisp.
Yeah,
you don't
crisp,
want those
bright fruit.
Yeah, for some of our rosés and whites, we tend to dislike or I in my opinion, I prefer not to have my whites under, or certain whites to not have any oak influence on them.
For our Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for the Chardonnay, of course, which that gives it a huge plus.
But we do two styles of Chardonnay.
We
do. Yes,
yeah.
We do the steel, which is higher acidity. Pick the same date, but higher acidity exemplifies that, and oak does a rounding, a softening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
With a little bit of malolactic.
This wine has a pretty high acid, pretty tart.
Yeah.
I would say on the nose.
Yeah, there you go.
Dreamsicle.
What's the total acidity is
0.72.
0.72, and that's grams per liter. It's a wine geek term, maybe, but what you will be getting in your wine club shipment, you'll be getting these notes in a version, so you can ask us questions about the wine's profile from a chemistry standpoint, as well as what we're getting into right now. So aromatically, I think we all liked it.
Smell it from a mile away.
I know you can.
What's the
It's
perfect
amazing.
serving temperature for this? What would you suggest?
I think we were saying about 60 degrees.
Yeah, 55 to 60.
Yep.
I would go towards that area. If you want it chiller, go ahead.
Out of the fridge, and then
Just let it sit on the
let it
table.
sit out.
Yep.
And drink it until it's gone. And it'll change with the temperature.
And as we stand and present this to you in the vineyard, and it's probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon already. It's much warmer than ideal, but it's still expressing itself well. I think it changes, evolves. So
It does.
color,
on a peachy hue, on a darker peachy hue.
Yeah.
exactly.
Like salmony,
I would say salmon for sure.
hard salmon, or really like dark.
To me, it's almost like
dark
Kehoe
peachy hue.
salmon.
Yeah.
Kehoe salmon. But again, the viscosity on this, it falls quicker. It's definitely a thinner profile wine, but it's based upon the fruit and the acidity driving this wine to a finish.
It's a great pickup
Yeah.
wine.
I think there's depth and complexity to the fruit, just because of the old vines. It didn't even need skin contact to get any of
to get that.
the density of the fruit.
We had labeled it as it has like almost a mandarin orange type essence to it.
Orange peel.
Obviously, we mentioned the structural balance with the acidity, And I added a comment to it. It's a segue. This wine's kind of in the mid-range of the over-acidic to the very blousy, softer versions of a rosé. Again, rosé is purely about no skin contacts and preferably stainless fermentation. Food pairings.
I said the grilled Caesar salad.
Yeah.
I still think that goes really well with this.
Well, and again, Tana is our vegetarian princess here. So, but you had a specific to it. It's a grilled Caesar salad
Grilled Caesar
without
salad.
chicken.
No chicken.
But what are you doing with the romaine leaves?
You're just putting them on the grill, let them sear a little bit, turn it over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
So it's a hot.
It's hot.
Hot
it's
Caesar.
not really hot, but it just adds a little
Yeah.
complexity to the leaves.
Yeah.
Someone said eggplant lasagna. I think that would be really
Yeah.
a nice pairing too.
Yeah.
And you could do that too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All day.
Lamb meatballs.
Like you said, it's a perfect picnic wine.
It
Also,
is. It's
Yeah,
perfect
charcuterie.
picnic wine.
I mean, cured
Yeah.
meats.
if you want to
Cured
find
meats,
some,
yeah.
if you want something complex, this is it. But if you want something to drink at a nice picnic day, it's nice and hot outside. You could definitely drink this too.
It's
Yeah.
easy drinking. It's an easy sipping. It's just an easy wine to enjoy
Yes, it
at
is.
any time. Yeah.
And we're going to move on, but typically what I would do in the vineyard is I would discard the wine, but it's up to you guys. And
Thanks, Ty.
Ty led the lead. We're moving on, but I'm not throwing this away.
It's good stuff.
All right, so 2016.
Cheers.
To whatever format this reaches to you, by next week on Wednesday, after you've had a wine club weekend, we want you to be able to watch this, and hopefully you haven't consumed. But if you have consumed your wine, no problem. We'll send you another
more.
bottle. We're happy to sell you more. So, on to the 2016.
Look at that color.
Talk to me, guys. Tell me
Look at that
what's this like.
color. Look at that color.
Big.
It is
Yep.
big.
What? All right. So what does that mean? Again, this one's been in barrel for almost 30 months. 120 cases produced for you, and foremost for you, our wine club members, in your empty glasses right there, waiting for you. You enjoy this one. This was bottled down in February of this year. The boot camp series, from bud break to glass aspect that we're going to be going through, we'll be talking about this. Is that too recent? Is it too complex a wine that it's too early to release it? We covered a series on the Merlots, and both of those needed to be decanted. Where do we stand with this one?
This one's just awesome. I'm ready.
Awesome?
I'm ready to drink it right now.
Oh yeah,
Mind you,
we're on aromatics. We want to get to tasting, but hey.
It's beautiful. It has some raspberry essence. One thing I think we should talk about is how much tons per acre we get from this vineyard.
Yeah.
It's such a low yield.
Yeah.
So we get a lot more fruit from that. There's a lot more expression of the fruit because the yield is so low.
Yeah. In our vineyard walkthrough series, we'll go specifically into each vineyard relative to its wine traditional base, the Carigane. And yes, it does matter. Again, these are deep-rooted vines. These actually produce a sizable crop, but we thin it down. We balance the vines so they can make the finish line relative to the vintages. So color is
amazing. It's
out
beautiful.
of 10
Dark.
points. We all collectively gave this 100 point. I gave it a 10 out of 10. Second aspect of 100 points is 30 points for maximum for aromatics.
I think it's this classic Carignan, kind of
Earthy. Yep.
like earthy mushroom. For me, it smells like as if you were walking in a forest with the
Yes.
I said
Yeah.
big trees.
Yeah,
big
yeah,
trees during
big-
a rainforest. Yep.
During the rain, where the sky breaks, and you get some of the aromatics back off the floor, and what is it? It brings up
Just
that
walking in
redwoodness to it. All right, so
And yeah, you also don't have to get it. Just because we get this this one aroma doesn't mean that everyone's gonna get it. Just tell us what you get on it.
yeah, absolutely.
Every input is valuable.
every input is right to the consumer. That's their input.
It's all subjective. There's no right or wrong. This is just what we commonly agree. But if you get something else, it's totally fair. Totally subjective to anyone that's drinking this wine.
And when we do our compilation of our scores, it is based upon independent thoughts. There is no right nor wrong. If I say I think this is 10 out of 10 for a color, it doesn't mean anybody else is going to necessarily agree. And I value everybody's opinion here. So for aromatics, 30 points possible. This one got a 30. You might want to try this one. Let it breathe. I don't think this one needed to be decanted. Is the question.
I think pour it and drink it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. This is an
soft
amazing wine.
And gentle. It's not too hard up front right out of the bottle.
It's easy.
So that was the aromatics. Then the varietal correctness. Then we go to mouthfeel and finish. Varietal correctness is the third parameter out of 30 points. Where does this stand? And then mouthfeel is what does it do in your palate? And then finish is it long, short, relative to a varietal. So 30 points. It dances.
It dances.
Okay. We definitely agree on that. It's silky, is what we had.
Mm-hmm.
The notes I'm referring to are a composite of 4 different sets of wine sheets, independent, looking for consistency. It's you said. Somebody said tannins.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tannins are a product of the grape skin and the grape seed, depending on how long the seeds are in the mix. And again, part of the series on fermentation, you'll see that. But it's balanced.
It is. It's very balanced. It's silky. It has a great mouthfeel. It's juicy. It makes your mouth water. I mean, you can feel it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
That comes in with the good acidity that this wine has. I believe it's...
What is it?
0.71.
It's still 0.71.
It's around the same as Rosè, or 2019 Rosè, and that comes from this vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
And another thing too is important is how far to dry does this go, which is an important discussion relative to the next wine, which is a port style or sweet wine. If you want to express the vineyard fruitfulness, the harvest date on this, I don't even show that it's on here. Or bottling. Oh, no, harvest date is not on here. Where we did the Rosè in September, this is one of the latter vineyards that we would harvest. It's probably one of the second to last vineyard on the entire ranch. So it goes a long time on the vine. We're going actually out in the vineyard and doing readings. We're pressing the juice and checking the sugar on this, trying to get that taste profile. So this one is probably late October.
I was going to say end of October. Almost.
You guys have been through 2 cycles. Was it late?
Halloween.
Because it's not even on my wine notes.
It's
Halloween.
Too. I mean,
This is a Halloween crush. Yeah, so you're getting higher sugar levels. We gotta watch that relative to how it's going to translate to a dry wine versus sweet wine in alcohol. So we're trying to hit something that is about 24 to 26 bricks, and we'll define that in the later series of what bricks, B-R-I-X, means. So we hit that, we find that, and try to preserve that fruitfulness, and then, which is out of 15 points for fruitfulness or mouthfeel, and 15 points, we collectively, unilaterally, without prejudice, we gave it 15 out of 15.
We like it.
And then the finish of the wine is the last and most important part. So what is... we hit 15 points. We gave 15 out of 15. So it's not one you want to miss.
It's not.
Get a bottle of it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it now. And the ageability on this wine,
based on the acidity, I would say you can age it as long as you want. This definitely has some future.
Define that.
I think it
How
at
long?
least 10 years.
Yeah.
10.
10, at least 10
Wow.
years you can cellar this. I mean, it's good.
That's awesome.
It is. It's good. It's a good wine. It's a solid wine. It's well structured. It's well balanced.
It'll age pretty well.
It will. It will age well.
I will, to conserve on time so we can get to the port style wine, I'll read you what we had, and please interject as you, after I've read this, and expand where you need to. Gouda, or I can't pronounce that.
Manchego?
What is
Manchego.
Manchego.
Manchego cheese?
Spanish sheep's milk.
Spanish sheep's milk. There you go. I'm learning. You know, for us, us meat lovers, a pork shoulder, butternut squash, lamb, a beef brisket, and then I love this one. You suggested it. What does that say?
Oh, sourdough bread with a creamy sour cream.
No, that was the next one. I'm sorry.
Oh, sourdough bread, toasted cheddar cheese. Oh my gosh. Even with a little bit of pesto, yep.
Oh, yeah.
I'm throwing one in there. I'm going mushroom risotto with black truffles.
Oh, for that.
I need black truffles on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'd have that with you.
Yeah.
With your
Absolutely.
whole food background in specialty and foods and cheeses and stuff and wines.
I can always trust Tyler's.
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you. All right. I think the third one was, I didn't have notes for, so guess what? They're gone.
Bye-bye.
But
Off the table.
I'm sorry, just like this wine, you know, they describe wine abuse as throwing it. Most of my customers say wine abuse is throwing it away, or wine abuse to some might be drinking it too much. But cheers.
Cheers.
You,
Let's go again.
damn, Ty.
About you, Tyler.
Perignon's one
I guess it helps to be tall like he is, right?
of my favorite varietals to drink.
All right, on to ports. Thank you, sir. Good attempt at a save.
Thanks, Zeus.
Part of what we love to do here is give this to you candid. This is one take. This isn't multiple takes. It's just us being us,
Having fun.
having fun, doing what we get paid to do. Drink.
Cheers.
What do we get paid to do? Drink what? Wine. Yeah. There you go. All right. So, whew. All right. 2007 vintage, port style sweet wine, same vineyard, many years back. So what does that mean? What does that mean? You know, what are we tasting here? Why a port style? What does it mean? Is that we pick this later. Where we pick this early in the season, in September-ish. We pick this October-ish. This is almost November-ish. And why? Because you want more maturity. You almost want the grape berries to be starting to morph a little bit, where there's, you know, the concentration of sugars are much higher, and then again, so it goes into a fermentation process, but I call it stopping a freight train. Instead of taking wine from a high brick sugar to a very dry residual sugar, we finish. Here's the start point. Here's the end point for this. What we do is we stop it at about 10. Asked me the other day, and we
About
said
12.
about 12, and 12 bricks, 12% residual sugar. Why? Is we want to hit it to when it hits about 10, it's done. And how do you stop a freight train on the tracks relative to wine? You add
Alcohol.
alcohol. Woohoo!
Kill that yeast.
Grape spirits.
Kill it off.
High proof alcohol, grape spirits, we add that to it, and we also chill the tank. Fermentation ranges, which we'll get into more specifically later. Fermentation range temperatures work within, up, at a baseline of about 55 degrees
Yeah.
on up to whatever.
88, 89.
88, 89. So what we do is we drop the temperature of the juice in the fermentation, and we add the soup of alcohol to it. It's absolutely, it's almost euphoric aromatics around the tank. It's like the witch's brew, but so you get that aspect,
that.
and then, so you've stopped the fermentation. Now you have this balance between sweetness and alcohol, right? And as a lot of people say, they don't like ports. And I said, well,
They
why?
haven't tried this.
Yeah, well, yeah. Have you tried this one? But a lot of people say, oh, it's too sweet or it's too high in alcohol. The value is a balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. What is the balance of this one? You know, and again, the other aspect that's so important to these is the length of time in barrel, the aging process. How do you marry this high proof? You guys ever tried the high proof spirits solo by itself on a bridge without cutting it?
Just on your lip.
Oh, I made the fateful mistake. I tried it, I tasted it, and it hurt. My palate. So tasting profile on this. Let's get some agreement, not even agreement, but just thought process. Where are we with this wine?
Kind of that bruised apple.
Like stewed.
Yep,
Stewed.
fruits.
Bittersweet chocolate.
I don't like
little
that
bit of
word, but I'm
s'mores.
imagining stew.
Absolutely a s'more. It's that
graham cracker crust in
toasted
there.
s'more or toasted marshmallow.
Okay, yeah, because that's the chocolatishness, the sweetness aspect of it. Again, we had talked about before, it's the balance between sweetness and alcohol. Where does this stand in that ratio would be the question.
Kind of makes me think of the history of port and takes you to the Douro Valley, even if you haven't been there.
Yep.
You can just
You can smell it in the glass.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep, it's earthy.
I want to be there right now.
I do
Douro
too.
Valley.
I do too.
I like being here. Here's good too.
Yeah, this works too. Hello, babies. These are the new babies coming out right now.
We love the family.
So, what would you do with this? When would you prepare this for the dinner course? What temperature is? Give me just some thoughts.
Room
everybody.
temperature.
Cellar temperature.
Yeah, cellar.
yep.
brew.
What is cellar temperature? People want to know.
68.
Yeah.
68 degrees.
I think this is a
Woo!
good. Yeah, I know that's kind of warm. 68.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just kind
Not
of room
refrigerated,
temperature.
but your
just kind
cellar
of room
temp.
temperature.
Let it warm up in the glass
Yeah.
if
Yep.
you want.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
with some espresso beans, espresso chocolate beans,
Oh.
that would go pretty good.
Vanilla chocolate.
I'm
I
bringing
want a
back
brownie.
the blue cheese again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Blue cheese, yeah.
Put some Roquefort.
Oh, I could do
Kind of
some
that
Roquefort
sweet,
cheese.
salty.
Yeah.
Yeah, balance between the
Okay.
two.
Amazing.
A salty
Yeah.
cracker. Really, a salty cracker.
You know,
Cigar.
again, guys,
Oh, I like that.
you know, our thoughts are our thoughts. We want to share them with you. What you think of this is and how you would pair it helps us to define how we would express it as well.
Yeah.
We're sponges as well. We're the professionals now. We're human. You know, we do what we do because we love to do it. And
Every day.
if you haven't seen the video of my amazing peers right here, you haven't seen the video of them, you know, in the intro to what led up to this release of all these YouTubes, please see that so you can get a surmised, limited presentation of who we are and why we come to this focus. Soon to be released by my technical guy here, Jesus.
I guess.
He is
I'm
like,
that
oh,
too.
crap. What am I out volunteering for? So we will be posting on our website all of our profiles, not just us as the wine team, but all of the important members of our winery. What do they bring to the table? Who are they? What are their backgrounds? What's their profile? So you can get a visual to all the different departments that make wine. It's not just us. We could go all day about what we do and why we want to present it to you, but marketing and sales and, you know, understanding of it, all the different things that happen matter intensely. So thank you for your time, everybody. Let's give me a click. Oh, group click. Cheers, everybody.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
All right.